thankful, just thankful. Thankful that I was a part of it. Thankful that I accomplished something that I've always wanted to accomplish as a kid. Gratitude and thanks.
Gratitude and thanks is the way that Bryson DeChambeau summed up what he accomplished in the week that was. Welcome into the Fairways of Life show. Delighted to have your company. Matt Adams here with you. We have Dom and Andrew behind the glass today. John put together a ton of sound that we're going to be getting to many of those elements in today's show. We are live. You can probably see it over my shoulder here. The fan shop at the Travelers Championship. The range is right over here. The driving range, the practice ground, the putting green is right here in front of me, and we are here all week broadcasting live on tomorrow's show when we are coast to coast on Golf Channel 2. As I told you, this is the time of year that we're kind of dodging and weaving around programming because this morning the re-air of Live From is on Golf Channel during our time slot. We'll be live from coast to coast on that medium as well tomorrow. And on tomorrow's show, I want to feature more of Bryson addressing the media. Maybe you caught some pieces of it, but you didn't catch it with our team, John and Andrew and Dom, kind of picking what we think are the best of and then reacting off of that. We have so much to react to with what Bryson has accomplished. And I want to get into the conversation, and you guys can answer to it on our YouTube page, the Fairways of Life YouTube page. And I'll bring Dom in here in just a second and ask him the question of the day, because I am curious about what the flavor is of. And again, forgive me if you've already heard this debated, and whether it causes you to roll your eyes or whether it causes you to embrace it as a legitimate discussion point. I think it is the latter, which is how much of this was a victory that Bryson went out and captured and did what he had to do, which I think he did. How much of this is about what Rory failed to do with 3 bogeys in his 4 closing holes? And remember, he had to scramble and get up and down at 17. I think both of those discussions have merit, and I'm curious what your reaction is to all of those. But I'll bring Dom in here for a second. Dom, what an incredible U.S. Open. I as you know, we were at Pinehurst in the U.S. Open this week, had to travel up here yesterday to be ready and set up and do all the technical tests for our broadcast here from the Travelers Championship. But I got to see every minute of the leaders at the U.S. Open. I thought it was wildly crazy entertaining. What was your reaction to it?
I can't remember the last time I was that nervous watching a golf tournament.
Really?
And I didn't really have a dog in the race, but the pressure that Bryson and Rory were under at the end there, like those last 8 holes, the haymakers, from like the 9th hole to the 14th hole, going back and forth between them, and then the struggle down the stretch, right? I mean, neither of them birdied the last 4 holes. I mean, it was a struggle coming in. It was like, who can hang on? And it just felt, it felt so much like what I want golf to feel like in the major championships. It felt like what I wanted it to feel like. It was pins and needles. It was excruciating pressure. And that's the U.S. Open pressure we all want, right? It wasn't kind of like what you're going to see this week at the Travelers Championship, where guys can go really low. They can go on stretches like Kevin Streelman making 100 birdies in a row, and Jim Furyk shooting in the 50s and all this other stuff. It's the total opposite of that. It is, can you make par when it matters? Can you make par from a bunker? Can you make par from the trees? Can you make a 4-footer, a 6-footer that's going, you're putting on marble? So, I mean, I'm almost speechless, which says a lot coming from me. But I was a nervous train wreck watching, an absolute nervous train wreck. I was when we were on when Rory was teeing off 18, and Bryson had struck his shot on 17 into the green. I was visibly shaking. It's like this is too much. I can't handle it. I can't handle it.
Did you have
awesome.
Did you have the same sense? First of all, to the comparison you were making to the U.S. Open here at the Travelers, I love that contrast. That's one of the reasons why I love this Travelers so much. I liken it to a playoff game in the NHL, right? Which the score is probably going to be 2-1 a lot of the times. Or do you like to have a high-scoring game, maybe regular season, and it's awesome because the game ends up being 6-5? The Travelers Championship is the 6-5. This is about going low. This setup, this golf course, TPC River Highlands, is your anti-U.S. Open, right? Which I love, and I love that they're back-to-back, so we see that kind of contrast. We've got a drivable par 4 here and the par 4 15th, which is really fun and really exciting. So I love the way that played itself out. But the question I was going to ask you, Dom, was, did you have the same sense when after Rory had bogeyed 15 and 16 and scrambled at 17, did you not have a sense that trouble was lurking at 18? And then he hooks it left at 18. It was like, when it comes to Rory McIlroy, we saw the old demons that we hadn't seen in a while. Rory had been 496 for 496 this season from 3 feet and in. Think about that for a second. But then at 18, when he loses it with a driver, he tends to lose it left, right? And you had Rory McIlroy once again facing that distance that was the distance that I like to say tries men's souls. I remember Gary Player telling me one time that you relive your sins over a 3-foot putt in a major. Now, Rory had varying distances there anyways. There's Justin Ray's stat that I was just quoting for you, which was amazing. But I don't know, Dom. So I go back to the question I was going to ask you was, I had a sense, I was telling it to my wife because we were both watching it together on speakerphone, believe it or not. So how to share TV time together when you're not with your spouse. And I was saying to her, I just have a feeling that something's going to happen here to Rory that's going to allow Bryson to kind of get him at the end, which is precisely what took place. Did you have that sense of fate with Rory, or did you think that Rory was going to be able to hold it together, maybe get in the playoff?
That specific question is why I was so on edge. I had no idea whether Rory or Bryson were going to be able to keep it together. Who is going to keep it together? And that's where the pressure came. That's where the nervousness, the excitement, that's what we all want. But I want to spend, I would like to talk about Rory in detail. We've got a lot of stuff, but I don't want to do that right now. I want to focus on Bryson for a little bit here.
Fair enough. But
he won the U.S. Open. It's his second U.S. Open, and I wanted to show a couple things, Matt. I wanted to show.
Hold on. So before we get into that, Tom, I want to know what your question of the day is, so we don't forget it, because that's what this whole thing started with.
Well, the question of the day is about Rory, but that's why I want to give a chance for people to respond to my question before we talk about Rory. The question is, can Rory McIlroy overcome another heartbreaking loss, or is this the end? Is it the end? Are his nerves fried? Is it too much? Is all of the weight of having the PGA Tour on his shoulders, the runner-up finishes in major championships? Remember what happened at the Open Championship? Is it just too much? And so I gave 3 options. One is he's done. He's done. It's over. This is it. The other one is he'll be fine. It's golf. He'll be fine. And then I gave a third option is, do you care? Maybe you don't care. Maybe this doesn't matter. Why are you asking me this question? So that's the question of the day. So we'll let people respond to that, and we'll come back to that in like a half an hour and see where we're at. But okay. Andrew, there's a couple things I wanted to go through with Bryson here. There's some sound I wanted to play, talking more about the future of golf that I think is fascinating in how this victory plays a role in things. But I wanted to first put up his scorecard, and I wanted to ask you a very straightforward question, Matt. Andrew's going to put up Bryson's final round scorecard here. What impressed you the most? What was the stretch of golf? And don't give me a cop-out. Don't say, the up and down on 18. When you look at this scorecard, and we know what Rory was doing from like the 9th hole to the 13th hole, the run that Rory went on. Yeah. What right there impressed you the most? I have an answer, but I'm curious what yours is.
Yeah, I mean, just to reiterate, it's not a cop-out to say the up and down at 18, because that is historic in proportion to what took place. But that's not where I'm going to go. I'm allowing that if that is someone's answer to that question, 100% would support it, no doubt. For me, it's what he did at 13. For me, the way that he made birdie at 13, being off angle such as he was, what Bryson kept doing, the tee shot that he had at 17 is another example of it. What Bryson kept doing all week was he kept taking on the challenges. He kept taking on the razor-thin margin of failure in the moment, which could equate to failure in the big picture, and he was pulling off what he needed to do. I like the way that Bryson held himself together going out and won over on the front nine. And then when Rory started on his tear, Bryson never panicked. There was so much to be impressed with, but as to specifics, what he did at 13 and that birdie there was really impressive to me. What's yours?
My answer was going to be his tee ball at 13, which plays into what you were saying. But I'll give you another answer. It's kind of like 1A. The up and down at 8 when he was long and left in that swale where John Daly made 100 and he got up and down. On the broadcast, I think Bowen said that's one of the 10 best short game shots under major championship pressure I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. And remember, he hit it right into the junk off the tee. He was having problems finding the fairways all day long, but he had to hit sort of like a try at least to hit sort of a cut through the trees to get down there towards the 8th green. And he'd been hitting just sweeping draws all day. And while it didn't cut as much as he wanted, he got down into some area where he was around the green. And then to nip it clean like that and drain that putt. And he had that huge fist pump and he turned to the crowd. I wonder, Matt, if that was the moment when he turned to the crowd, when he drained that putt, when he was like, I got it. I can do this. I have it in me to do this.
I think that Bryson DeChambeau was using the crowd for fuel in as much as they were using him for fuel as well. There was a real connection there. You could feel it on the grounds throughout the course of the week. And to Dom's point of sound, I am going to use a sound clip here about the future of the game because I think it's telling. And then we're going to come back and get into more of this Bryson DeChambeau. What is it about this Bryson that's different perhaps than the Bryson that we thought we knew previously? And the reason why I'm going to approach it from that standpoint is I realize that there are some that are out there, they're so tired to hearing about the new Bryson, but I still go back to what we do here, which is the why. What changed and why did it change? But first of all, to Dom's mentioning of Bryson on the use of social media for him, the growth of the game, the future of the game of golf. Here's that clip of Bryson.
I hope so. I mean, my mission is to continue to expand the game, grow the game globally and domestically, and YouTube has really helped me accomplish some of that. And consequently, I think people have seen who I am on YouTube, which has been fantastic because then I get to play off of it. The content, it just feeds itself out here, and they just say things that make me interact and engage. And when's the next junior club set coming out? You know, another video of the junior club set, and so I'm just able to play off of that. And it's a direct conversations to people that truly engage with what I'm doing, and it's such an awesome platform for me to show who I truly am. And so those fans out there really helped push me out there today. Even when stuff wasn't going well, like I'm just looking on the screen back there, I had nothing there. No business even trying to go for that. But you know me, I don't play boring golf. And, you know, again, even though I hit in the bunker, the fans are still chanting my name. So inspired me to get that one up and down. If I'm to be quite frank, I hope we can figure things out quickly. I hope this can bridge the gap between a divided game. All I want to do is entertain and do my best for the game of golf and execute and provide some awesome entertainment for the fans. That's what, from at least what I can tell, that's what the fans want, and they deserve that. And you can say what's happened in the past is, you know, you were part of the reason. This is let bygones be bygones. Let's go figure it out. Let's figure out how to bring this game, this amazing game that creates so much positivity, back to where it belongs.
All right, Bryson addressing the media about various subjects, including what he's doing on YouTube. I know today many of you around the world are watching us on YouTube. It's a medium, obviously, that we believe in as well, because you can get what you want, when you want it, where you want it, how you want it. And Bryson was able to show, as he keeps saying, really show people who he is. Okay, well, what was the divide between who he is and who we thought he was, right? And how that all played out.